Thank you for joining me on my story about the journey at the Rabobank. Our challenge is to develop very quickly to a mature level in people analytics, to be able to bring explicit strategic value to the decision making within our bank. And I've been leading this development for the last 2.5 years. And I will take you on this journey where I will talk about all the choices we made and the impact they had. And I hope it inspires you in your own choices in your journey. But before we get to this 30-minute trip, I need to tell you a little bit more about me and about the bank, just to understand the context of my story. So there are 2 things you should know about me. First of all, I have a master's degree in business administration, and I'm specialized in strategic HR and change management. And this helps me to view the challenges in a more holistic way and use multiple approaches to come up with solutions. And working together with others is key for me. The second thing you should know, and that's the picture on the left, you will see I'm just a big favor of crossing all continents on my motorcycle. I do that many years, and I never have a plan. I just go for it. I only have a goal. And while I'm exploring, I just use all the things that I come across, especially the people I meet on the way. I just ask them questions and they help me further. So that's the way I travel around. And within the people analytics journey, I've been for about 10 years now. And I joined the Rabobank in 2016. And I bought a video just to imagine what the Rabobank is all about.
Hey, do you have a moment? Imagine that there is enough healthy food for everyone. Can you see it? Imagine that we can produce more food without overtaxing the earth, that we revive agricultural land and waste fewer resources. Imagine that no one has to leave their home to flee famine and that there are fewer conflicts. Now imagine that it's a bank working towards this vision. A bank founded by and for farmers that understands you can achieve more together and knows all about food and how to grow it. Imagine that we help kickstart the smartest innovations by our customers and partners on a global scale and jointly address the biggest food issues on 6 continents. Imagine that we can solve the world food problem together and you can count on us. Growing a better world. Together, Rabobank.
So this gives you a little bit of an idea what we are about. Like you've heard, we are a global cooperative bank, and our mission is based on a growth mindset, both towards our clients and to our employees. And we are on the move, transforming all the time, and we are about to set up this journey that I will take you along. But first, I'm going to tell you about the dream. I hope it's working. Not. No, back. Because where are we heading for? Well, I believe in a future where we will become a digital human bank, where technique not only helps us to deliver specific products to the unique needs of our customers, but also to help our employees thrive. With an eco-digital system that empowers our employees and our organization and connects them to each other. Not only in their daily journeys, but also in the key moments where they will use a digital assistant with algorithms just to help them grow on a broadened horizon. For example, when you're just part of an agile team, how can you strengthen your contribution to that team? Or on an organizational level, how can you maximize your customer value by mixing the right skills in the teams or appointing the right informal leaders in your organization? And I believe that fact-based driven HR will be the new normal, where our HR professionals will become the true partners of the business, challenging them on their business issues and on their challenges, and bring them self-made holistic insights that point the people interventions into realizing those business goals. And our professionals are going to use smart and artificial intelligent tools just to generate their own insights. which are just simple and start from the business question, instead of just pushing tables and graphs. And I do believe in an analytics that will adapt to a more holistic view on our employees and the way we organize work in the future, where analytics will be part of an enterprise chain of analytics. And we conduct analytics in a positive way, where we, by developing models to create the best fit between employees, the human, and the organization, we always bring that value back to the employees. Because in the end, I do believe that the employees are the ones that add significance to our products, beyond what robots or artificial intelligence can bring us. Well, that seems a dream far away. We're not there yet, but I do believe that by putting the right building blocks in place, it enables us to react agile in all the challenges we will meet on our journey. So when I set out this journey at the Rabobank, I took two things with me to set up the mindset for the couple of years to come. First of all, I feel that people analytics can bring a lot of value to the organization. But when I arrived, I found an analytics team who was basically just responding ad hoc to reporting questions. And they were the data fixers of HR. Also mentioned in the speech before this. And I do think that we can add more value climbing up a mountain, but especially when we do it together as HR, not only as a team, but in HR for everybody. So I use this image, which is the value pyramid of agnostics, but I just sort of translated it to a mountain we had to conquer together. So I emphasize the we in this journey. So all we need is have a data lake with all the data inside to support the data and reporting. And the further we go up, the more value we can bring by making our HR processes more effective, optimize our people, and then ultimately, on the top, optimize the business outcomes. So I use this image to show that we don't have to start at the bottom and then just take years to move up this mountain. I use the image of the helicopter to show that you can work on multiple levels at the same time. And that helped me to set the story, to create a sort of a common feeling of urgency and to invest in multiple layers and to take responsibility together as HR. And now we're just all over the mountain within 2.5 years. So the next thing I needed before I set out this journey was to realize that in order to be successful as people analytics, it all depends on how well you are in helping HR taking up their strategic role in a fact-based way. So when I arrived, there was a new CHRO as well, and she understood the importance of linking HR strategy with the business strategy. She was a big sponsor to become a data-driven domain, which helped enormously. So basically, we just align all our activities to focus on how can we empower employees and what kind of effect does that have on our clients. So for this, we need a very simple and digital foundation. And on top of that, we can work to have one Rabo culture with future skilled leaders. And on top of that, we can empower our employees by growing their adaptability, their vitality, their craftsmanship. And we put all these elements in a house. We call this the HR house. And on top of that house, there is a beautiful view on the future, where we link the happy people and the happy customers together. Well, analytics is basically just focusing on this link, of course, but we're also the Wi-Fi in this house, enabling all the inhabitants in their fact-based way and fact-based mindset, and using our house robots to strengthen our capabilities. So with these two defaults, first, moving up this mountain with parallel tracks And second, how can we enable our HR partners to work fact-based and to think fact-based? We set out this journey. And I'll tell you every step we take and why we took it. So first of all, in order to grow, we needed one perspective of our employees in the Rabobank. That was a problem because we didn't have Workday yet. We had 2 core systems and 90 global systems. So there was no way we had one unique perspective of our employee. So we started to build an HR data lake in the digital domain of our company. So we used their platform, their techniques, Hadoop, to start building a 360 employee view. And with that data, with that unique data of our employees, we provided the first basic insights to our business partners to help them start their fact-based journey as well. And we did this very simple. We just used Tableau, built it ourselves, within 4 weeks in an agile way, together with our business partners. It helped a lot, but there was just one drawback for us, because we were the only place in the whole bank where you can get one perspective of the company. So that triggered that we were the favorite place to go. Everybody just wanted to come to us and ask for reporting questions. And of course, that's very nice when you can just deliver insights to the board of directors that helps their strategic agenda. But we also got a lot of requests for mailing lists. So I managed to keep most of the reporting questions at bay by just working together with other departments and also to just set the scope at the strategic level. But still, I feel at that time I needed to split my team in 2 parts. So we had 5 people, we split it in 2 parts. They were actually growing as well. I've got 11 people now. But I split my team in 2 parts. Both teams were focusing on tomorrow's challenges. But Insights was continuing building up this HR data lake and providing insights to our business partners and building tools, where Analytics started to focus on the question, what is most important for our board of directors and our CHRO? So at that time, we started working on 2 things. We implemented a new performance management system that changed from judging past performance to a growth mindset towards the future. And we used text and sentiment analysis to show that language and therefore behavior was changing over time. I will tell you a little bit more about that later. Or another thing that was that we measured engagement every 2 years. And our board of directors needed means to see engagement more often. So we developed this quarterly engagement scan, which became a predictor for the 2-year overall engagement survey. Meanwhile, the insights part was focusing on strategic issues as well, building a KPI dashboard for our management team so they can steer on this mission, happy people, happy customer. And we helped all the product owners who were responsible for the strategic KPIs to simplify their reports and to take ownership of their data. So they could sort of move into this cycle of looking forward, measure, and tell the story. And it helped them to be more self-sufficient and became less dependent on us. So with all these basics in place, I knew the next step was very crucial for how well we are able just to accelerate our analytics. And that is addressing the privacy and ethics. Especially in a bank, which is a very risk-averse organization, I think it's very important to build trust and build knowledge together with your privacy office and legal. So we started to co-create this framework. We don't know the future yet, and analytics possibilities are just changing so fast, even beyond our imagination. So it's good to have a common framework that helps to adapt to that future, is transparent, and helps you to assess which situation is there and which measures you should take for that. And basically, it's just about these 4 boxes. We co-created this with privacy office and legal. What I want is that we focus our discussions on topics that are new or that are affecting our individual employees. So all the analytics we do to enhance our policies, either on aggregated data, which is a go, or either on personal data that we have to anonymize first, which is to go extra carefully, we could just go ahead. If sensitivity is in order, for example, when it's about sensitive personal data, like individual engagement data, or when it's about sensitive organizational cases, then we go to the employee data committee and discuss what needs to be done there. And of course, we also stated what we won't do. It's very important to show that as well. So what we're not going to do is use analytics to monitor people. And we're not going to do any cases that might possibly damage our reputation as a trustworthy bank. So this framework works really well for us. We tried it out for a year, just brought all the cases to the employee data committee, discussed it, and then evaluated in which box they fell. And most of the cases just fell on the left side. So now we can self-assess our cases and discuss this with our privacy officer and just take the necessary measures that we talked about. And this helps us a lot in accelerating our analytics. And we also use the FAIR values, which are the values, the ethical values we co-created in the People Analytics program. So the F stands for foster trust, being accountable and responsible, impact-driven, and rigorous processes. And we use those values to emphasize that we want to use analytics in a good way, in a positive way, both thinking of the interest of the organization and the employees. And next month we will launch a video explaining this whole framework to our employees. So to be completely transparent about what we're doing. So at this point, this is 2018 now. We're ready to accelerate. So in analytics, we started to look for more business-driven cases because we want to move up that mountain all the way to the top. So we started to, for example, do analytics on successful relationship managers by looking at client satisfaction and financial outcomes. We also looked at how can we reduce the handling times of calls in our call center. But we also started to address the more intangible HR topics like adaptability and vitality. Because we need some new information, new data to build new KPIs for that. The insights part started to fully focus on training our partners, our business partners, our professionals, by just developing workshops, share and learns, infographics, and we built this e-learning as well, globally, just to help the business partners take up their role and understand that it's not so much about data, but it's more about understanding that you make assumptions. What is the business questions? What kind of assumptions do you make? And how do you get your information to support that assumption? Either from interviews, from data, of course, from insights, or just reading scientific articles. And furthermore, we also gave them a self-service analysis tool. In our case, that's not VCA, but it's Cruncher. It's more of a Dutch-oriented company. But it provides just a basic toolbox for the most relevant HR topics at this moment. So think about talent management, strategic workforce planning, succession planning. And it empowers our business partners just to go a little bit further than just only have insights, but to do their own analysis too, which helps us to focus on the more specific organizational topics. For example, collaboration. We are becoming a more network organization as a bank, so collaboration is very important for us. So what we're doing right now is analytics. We're expanding our portfolio, trying out new methods, trying to find new data sources or creating new data sources to make sure that we know which methods will help in which cases. And so, for example, now we are trying out the active ONA, the organizational network analysis, to see if it can help us with the collaboration topic in our organization. Well, that brings us to where we are right now. We are at the start of a new era. Because there are two things happening. First, next month, we will implement Workday. So that means we finally have this unique employee perspective of the bank, just right from the core. And secondly, we're moving into this new organizational model with chapters and tribes, etc. And we become a chapter, and we join forces with our innovation side of HR. And that means that the analytics and insights are merging together again. And we'll be working on two things. First of all, enabling the decision-making within our bank even further, especially on the health part of the organization. We have a performance and health cycle. Performance indicators, they are just all over the place, but there are just no health indicators at all. So we'll be working on that too. And the other one is end-to-end analytics. And I will tell you a little bit more about these two topics. First of all, the end-to-end analytics. I'll show you this model we use within our company. It's for analytics in all departments. It's called a funnel model. And basically, it just brings you from an idea to a realized product. And what is important for every phase in this model, there is a go, no-go decision. So that helps you to say, okay, we stop here because it doesn't bring any value anymore. Or we say, no, we have to go move up because the impact is just growing the further you get into this model. But then you know what to do and what kind of investments you should take. So basically, we start by exploring the potential of an idea. What is the strategic value? What is the business value? Why do we want to do this? And if that is established, we look at, is there any opportunity to actually do this? What are the requirements for data, for privacy, and for the techniques? How can we assess the impact of this? And if we know that, we can see if it's feasible by building the case, collecting and processing all the data, start to do the analysis, building models, validate them. So basically, in the lab phase, we're actually working within a lab environment too. We do most of our work. And if it's feasible, we start to test that in a limited setting in the pilot phase, just to see if we can get it to production. So right now, for example, our risk of loss model is in that phase. We're just optimizing it in order to get it to a production state. Then we can scale out, start the handover, train the business in the pre-production phase before we just give it over to the business owner in the production, including all the documentation. So this helps to sort of develop an end-to-end analytics, because at this point we're sort of standardizing all the steps in this model, using lean methodology, but also the agile approach. So for example, our lab phase is about 6 to 8 weeks. We have 3 small iterations of 2 to 3 weeks. And we start with just building a minimal viable deliverable. And then we just add value in the next 2 iterations. In order to have this end-to-end analytics, which is, makes it more predictable to our clients and more transparent, we need to work intensively together. And there is this, I bought this sheet for. So far, reporting within our Rabobank on HR metrics was mostly done by finance. And I do believe that if you want to be a true partner of the business, HR has to take responsibility for their own data, for their own information. And now we're actually ready for that because of the implementation of Workday. But we're also building an employee data hub to connect all the data together, like the engagement data and the Workday data. And I always wanted this because I was afraid that I would get the responsibility for the reporting within my team. And I do believe that capabilities for working on the day tomorrow and the day after are so much different than working on structuring the information right now and just providing information every single day, every single month to the organization. So I always advocated for a separation between the run and the change. And now it's finally happening because another team in HR services is going to take over the Horizon 1, building this employee data hub and delivering all the data and the information while continuously improve the core. So that enables us to focus fully on Horizons 2 and 3. Horizons 2 is tomorrow. How can we build enablers for decision making? By providing more descriptive analytics to unlock patterns, by training all the squads in how they can work fact-based and be more self-sufficient in that, by developing KPIs, especially on the health side of our organization, and by building tools and models for our employees, our teams, our leaders, to help them make decisions in their own growth. And it helps us to focus on Horizon 3, which is the day after, where we explore and unlock the future. See how people and drivers impact the business outcomes, how we can build predictive models and give continuous feedback to our leaders, our employees, and our teams. And because we become a chapter, we can sort of build a very strong intelligence change because we add the innovative side to this story. And innovation within Rabobank, I can give you some examples. We just developed a fur head. Just remember the name, you can Google it. A fur head is an artificial intelligent robot that can help you train your bad conversation skills. But we're also looking out for more market-specific tools to support all our functional domains within HR, like recruitment, in matching the candidates and the positions. So, I've talked a lot about the journey we've made so far and all the decisions. I've got a very dry throat now, so just give me a minute. How do I do with the time?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Ah. Then I have enough time to give you some examples of what we're actually doing. Because it's nice to talk about what we've been up to while building our journey, but what do we actually do? So, for example, first of all, I want to say that I think it's very important to sort of balance what you do for HR with what you do for the business. It should be equal. Serve both sides, like the people optimization and the business optimization. So on the HR side, I mentioned the implementation of a new performance system 2 years ago. So basically that was about stopping to judge past performance, but to culture a appreciative inquiry mindset, to look forward and to look to the growth in people. And we think that is just a culture shift. And we used text and sentiment analysis to show that you can actually see the language changing. So this is just a still, but we had a video that you actually could see the words moving from the left to the right. And this is not about having the perfect instrument to show how people grow or how performance dialogues grow in sentiment. This is just about visualizing culture, showing the organization that it's not only the performance side that you can actually bring into the decision-making room, but you can also show cultural shifts. And this made a very important impact in our organization, especially because we built a key behavior indicator based on this, based on the sentiment of the dialogue. This is another example, but I just go back a little bit. Yeah. First, I want to talk about the business support as well. So we support HR, but we also support the business. And right now, collaboration, as I mentioned, is very important for our organization, especially within our local banks. They sort of more centralize now around a specialized bank. And working together to serve the clients is just key. That's the main thing about this whole new organizational model. So how can we help the business to understand collaboration and to see it? Not only to ask them, what do you think of the collaboration within your area, but to actually show it. So right now we are experimenting with the active form of the network analysis to see if we can visualize the networks within that area. How well are they working together? Do they share knowledge? And do they trust each other's capabilities enough in order to maximize their value for the clients? Well, another thing we do as well was expanding our product portfolio. And therefore, we just do experiments. Experiments to, on one hand, try just to figure out how things work. And on the other hand, to see if there are minimal viable products that actually bring value to our current practices or maybe in the future. So, therefore, I want to use the example of the data-driven personas. Again. Yes. If you work in HR for a long time, you know that we use a lot of personas. And we use personas just to understand the people we're developing all these policies for. But I always saw that we just make them up. And that's with our best interest in heart. But it's just what we see that is happening within our organization, but we don't base it on real information. So I figured, how can we sort of build these data-driven personas using a cluster analysis form, just to see which clusters exist within our company, and do they change over time? Because I see all these reorganizations starting, and how much does that affect our perspective of the personas in our company? And can we actually zoom in? Because for some topics you like to zoom in for this, and for some other topics you want to zoom in for that. So we built this minimal viable product, and to market it, we just made a real life sort of persona out of it. There is just cluster analysis data in the background. And we are just going to put this in the internal HR market to see if it has value for current practices. We already know it has value because we can use this for the development of our next collective labor agreement. But just by experimenting, we help ourselves by just sort of getting ourselves familiar with some techniques, and we can add value right away by just showing minimal viable products and then decide if we go further or not. The last examples I want to show you is, I mentioned we do a lot to train our business partners and professionals. So we built this e-learning, which is just globally launched a few months ago. And we try to create real situations for our business partners to relate to and to think of what kind of insight they should think of if they want to work fact-based. So I'll just show you this example. A fragment.
Wow, so these people are reinventing the whole microcredit concept.
Yes, we're starting a pilot next week with a group of starting farmers. Or at least I hope so. I've heard there's commotion within the group and people aren't happy.
Okay, do we know why?
No, actually I really don't know why. I have a meeting with 2 business leads next week and I hope I can tell them more by then.
I think we were seeing each other before that, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see if I can help.
Yeah, that would be great, thanks.
All right, see you then.
Bye.
So by keeping it just simple and really close to the day-to-day practice of our talent managers and our business partners, we help them just step by step to get familiar with fact-based working. And what makes us successful so far is that we actually emphasize the fun part of working with data or working fact-based. So it's less about data crunching, and it's more about telling stories and understanding the bias in your assumptions. And that there are many sources where you can get your information from, except only from looking at Excel data. And that really makes them enthusiastic about working fact-based. So, that brings me to the close of my journey. And I'm very excited to hear more about your journeys. But I want to give you 4 lessons that I sort of picked up on my way that might help you too. First of all, please scope. Scope the things you do to the things you should do in order to reach your goal, and link that goal to the strategic challenges of your organization. Just use the capabilities and your techniques wisely and stay focused on your path in order just to maximize your impact. And share that with others so they know what they can and cannot expect from you. And work together with them. Please just remember, this is not your own journey. It's a journey of HR, it's a journey of the whole organization. Use the knowledge of others, just right from the beginning, and build trust together, and dare to ask, even the people and departments that just seem to throw obstacles on your path. Engage them, co-create with them, because it helps to improve the quality and to improve the understanding of what people analytics is about. Third thing is work agile. Just take small steps. Don't go for 100% correct, 100% complete. Just start delivering value right from the start and show it, because it helps others to engage to what you're doing, because they can see how it can help them. And that gets them more enthusiastic, and it will improve your impact just tremendously. And last but not least, dare. Please dare to dream, and dare to say no, and dare just to go for it, because we are the frontiers of HR. We bring the innovation in, and we guide them to the digital future. Don't be scared for setbacks, because they are going to be there anyway. But just look for smart ways to open your opportunities. Don't fix on the obstacles. Use a growth mindset just to go for the future, go forward, and use your strength. I wish you a very happy people analytics journey. Thank you.
Hi, we're just starting the journey into doing the same kind of idea as what you've already done. How did you really manage to push back against that reporting, this needs to be done right now, this is what you can do, versus taking that long-term view on what analytics should be, what it can be? Because as much as people want the magic, they also want you to do all of this right now.
Yes, well, it helped enormously that we had a CHRO who understands that we need to develop to this strategic level. And what helped was, first of all, I am very good in saying no. That helps. But mainly, it's what I did was a mix of to explain why it's important just to work on working for tomorrow instead of working on today's issues all the time. But secondly, like I said, I worked together with other departments. So if I said no, I could say, well, but you can go there and they can help you. So that helped, but I need to do something about that too. So I had to help the others to create space and time for them to help the people who had the questions. So it was a mix of both things, saying no, and at the same time trying to find new paths for them to go to so they could get help in the meantime.
You seem to have a highly skilled teams in terms of technical analytical capability, especially with cluster analysis and network analysis. So I was wondering, what kind of skill set does your team have And is it just technical, and if it has other skills or whatever? And the other, it's another half of the question is if you have any relation, if you're working with the big data team, in case Rabobank has a big data team, what the relationship with them?
Yes. So first of all, like, my team consists about a data scientist, data engineer. We have business consultants, a data specialist, and some insights consultant. And basically, so we have the technical part, but we also work together within our laboratory environment in the digital bank. So we work in the environment where all other analytics are based as well. But actually, we have sort of a mix of skills. So we have storytelling skills, we have this business consultancy skills, and I just believe in that, well, you just go for it. So don't make it too complex. Just start simple, like we did with the Tableau dashboards. We didn't just try to find someone who's really good in building those dashboards. We just tried it ourselves. And that helps, because it gives us skills, new skills as well. And it keeps us moving forward all the time, not waiting until some magic box opens up with some new skills we need. But just do it ourselves and just learn how to work with that. So yeah, it's a mixture, and that makes it actually really nice to work in this team. A lot of different skill sets, different colors in way of thinking, but just the diversity makes the team go beyond what they can imagine themselves.
Annemieke, thank you, and it was great to see how you've taken the ethics charter that obviously was co-created in the People Analytics program, the Insight 222 People Analytics program, rather, and take it to another level within your organisation. It's great. Thank you very, very much.
Okay.